All right, so this is Level Up Your Rehearsals here at MAGFest 2025, or 2024 according to the Slowpoke banner that I got. This is me. I'm that person in that picture. I didn't do my hair. What's that? There's a lot. Well, I'm that person. Thank you, Vicky. The one with the stick. Yes. I'm not the back of someone's head. I'm the person looking weird in like the photo with the rolled up sleeves. That's from yesterday, actually, so that's pretty neat. I'm the music director for the New Jersey Gamer Symphony Orchestra. Yeah, you see everyone, yeah. The New Jersey Gamer Symphony Orchestra is a community-based gamer orchestra, like many of you are familiar with. We play video game music. And a little bit about me, I love conducting and cats. Yes, two great things. Okay, so for today, there will be lots of Lucy photos, by the way. I'll put them next time. We're going to talk about how you develop your standards for running rehearsals. So the way we do it in NJGSO, like our methodologies kind of come from like 10 years of putting together rehearsals, running them. It didn't happen overnight, but over time we developed like our standards for like our schedule, how we do things. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Planning a rehearsal cycle, how to like kind of like plan out your rehearsal calendar in advance. Pre-rehearsal communications, managing rehearsal time. Recording your rehearsals, planning next week's rehearsal, and just like how to get ready, all that good stuff. So yes, what I've found over time is that consistency is key. It's very, very important to just be consistent in all that you do. So I'm always consistent in like when I'm sending out like a pre-rehearsal email. I'm consistent in our schedules from week to week. Like a rehearsal has the same format every single week. We keep it very consistent. We have like all our information always housed in the same place. I upload rehearsal videos like around the same time every week. Like just building that consistency so like your membership is expecting like this is when the rehearsal email will go out. This is when I get to rehearsal, I know when our break is going to be. I know what pieces we're going to work on. So we're like we focus on building a lot of consistency with our rehearsal schedule. And you can ask the NJGSO folks here for like just for a little like insight on that. But yes, you all expect to receive your emails 10 p.m. every Monday, the day after rehearsal, telling us about what we're going to be doing next week. So we keep that routine up every single week. And again, that came from just years of doing this. It wasn't always that way, but we found that it helps like our members like really come to rehearsal prepared. And when people come to rehearsal prepared, your rehearsals run better. Cool. So something we started doing in recent years. Yes, we have the brain rot. Something we started doing in recent years is putting our pieces on alternating schedules, like week by week. We call them rehearsal blocks. The reason why we have a lime and a coconut here is we give each rehearsal block like a cute fruit-related name. One cycle it was lime and coconut block. And each week we would focus on certain pieces. So in the coconut block we would focus on our Final Fantasy piece, our Mario piece, our Zelda piece. In the line block, we'd focus on Katamari, we'd focus on Monkey Island, like whatever the pieces were. And we kept to that schedule week by week. That way we rehearse, that way members would come in understanding, okay, this is a coconut block. We're expecting to work on these pieces. And we can have more time to dig into like the pieces week by week. The other benefit too is that like with these pieces being worked on like an offset, we can plan for certain gear that might need to be at rehearsals, such as like a drum set. We might not have to bring it every single week. We can plan to like bring it every other week. Our percussionists are aware what they need to bring. If I have to sub in on like guitar for a piece, like I can plan to bring my guitar every other week instead of like having to bring it each week. And people will just know what to expect. We don't have members like setting up, say, a drum set that you never get to use because like, you don't have that piece like on that block. So we just kind of, this is part of our consistency, part of our routine. We also like want to break up like our pieces into different blocks, like along lines of like difficulty to make sure, welcome, to make sure we're not cramming like all of our difficult pieces into 1 week and then having like 1 week like really easy. So we like just try to like build out rehearsal blocks that just like kind of like make sense. So we've we settled into this sort of like alternating rehearsal blocks timeline week by week. And I think we found that it like really helps us out. It's also super helpful for like giving myself additional time to plan rehearsals. So like, this week coming up, we'll work on certain pieces, and I'll have like additional time to review like footage, and then get to plan for like not next week but the week after, and really get to like solidify a good rehearsal plan. So we've really liked this alternating block schedule. I would love to ask like how other groups do it, but we found that this has been super helpful. Ted, yes. Yeah. So we usually, like our programs usually have like 10, 11 pieces, maybe 12, and we'll like put like about 5 to 6 like on each week. And then we just focus on like those 5 pieces. We don't touch the other piece. Towards the end of the cycle, we'll do what we call float days, where we kind of like pay attention to like our most like difficult spots or pain points. But for like the first like 2 months of each like rehearsal cycle, we're focused on this alternating schedule. And again, we used to like kind of just have like week by week, piece by piece by piece, but like, or like week by week, like kind of free for all with all our pieces. But we found that really like kind of designating weeks to like certain pieces has been super successful. Yes.
How many weeks do you usually have before each concert?
Yeah, that's a great question. So like we plan this out in advance. Usually we'll have about like 4 months worth of rehearsals, give or take. It's not exactly. It might be like more like 3.5. Usually like in our fall cycle, it's somewhere between I think like 13, 14 rehearsals. Spring's usually a little bit longer because we account for like days off such as like Easter, Mother's Day, all that. MAGFest weekend too. Potential snow days. So like our spring cycle is usually about like 16, 17 rehearsals. Fall's usually about like 14, I think. So just kind of depending on where things fall. And yeah, and the way like I like to break that down is like my first week I like to kind of do like a big like introductory week. We try to get into like a little bit of each piece, and then from there the following week we'll like start up like this kind of like alternating like blocks thing. So we'll start with like say our coconut block. We'll talk about 5 pieces. We'll delve into them. We'll like slate like like 20, 25 minutes to like each piece. And then the following week, like on the line block, we'll look at the other 5 pieces and focus on that. So, and yeah. Any other questions about rehearsal blocks? Yes. Yeah, I mean, at the end of our cycles, we designate what we call float days. We usually have like about 2 of them. And we'll like really just focus in on just like what is like our most difficult stuff. So once in a while too, if we like really need to like focus on something, we'll like do what we call breaking block, and we'll put like a piece like we'll just like address a piece, and we'll try to do it in a way that like you don't have to bring additional gear. Like we're not gonna make our drummers bring like their drum set, but like if we really need to like address a transition or something that's like super important, we'll like take a little time off like the next block. And it's also possible too, we could lose a block for like snow days, and then we'll have to like associate, kind of like plan for that too. But yeah, typically we really, while we're in like our block mode, we really try to stick to like, this is coconut block, we work on these pieces. Sometimes choir, I know will also like go off a little bit too, because like they have fewer pieces to work on. Yes, Vicky. That's a great question. So there's a few factors. I'll work with Travis, our percussion section leader, for one, and we'll go like along lines of equipment. So like, again, as I mentioned before, we don't want to bring a drum set every week. Not every piece needs a drum set. So we'll try to group together our drum set pieces in a way that makes sense onto one block, so that we don't have to bring the drum set every week. So maybe we don't have to bring the mallet station every week, whatever that may be. Conductors is another too. We have a few assistant conductors. This doesn't always shake out. I did this again to myself where I'm fully conducting one rehearsal, and then like Gabby and Travis are helping out at like every other rehearsal. But it is what it is. Maybe we'll switch that up. And then difficulty of pieces too. Like pieces that I know are like big, like instrumental and choral pieces together that are going to need a lot of time. Like I'm not going to group a ton of them together onto one block. I'm going to try to spread that out as much as possible. Again, with equipment in mind, as much as humanly possible, but like, it's something that we really think about, and at the end, we are hoping to at least achieve like 2 balanced like blocks in terms of difficulty, in terms of length of pieces, in terms of like the amount of pieces and equipment. It's a lot of like kind of thinking to do, but like, you'll find something that works when you put some thought to it, so. Cool. Yeah, and I don't really have this like written on the slide, but like what I do each cycle before we even start, a cycle being like the group of rehearsals like leading up to a concert, is that I send out like a rehearsal calendar to all the members, and it'll like list out like week by week. This is our introductory rehearsal. This is this block. This block. This day doesn't have rehearsal. So like in advance, everyone's going to know what the whole cycle looks like, barring any snow days. We had a snow day. We lost a rehearsal. They'll know when there's not rehearsal. They'll know like when the concert is, when the dress rehearsals are, and all that stuff. So that's going to be like listed out like at the start of each cycle for all our members. Yes, it's in the Discord, pinned as an event too. I have some information on Discord and email communications and all that stuff later. Hey, we have new friends walking in. Hello. It's okay. All right, you can walk into this panel late today, but rehearsal downbeat starts at 5:15. So, all right, cool. So each week I make it a point to really like communicate in advance what we're going to be working on, and I do that in the form of a rehearsal email that gets cross-posted to Discord as well. Not everyone checks their email, but people are hopefully checking Discord. Failing that, I don't know, get out from under your rock. You gotta, you gotta read this stuff. So Lucy here is being a responsible member, and she is going to check her email in advance. So in NJGSO, we have our rehearsals on Sunday evenings. By Monday, 10 p.m., I think everyone who's NJGSO knows, check your email, check Discord, you'll get the pings. You'll see like my message go up. So Monday at 10 p.m., just giving me enough time to like review the previous rehearsal footage, give me some time to like plan, discuss with like our choral directors, assistant conductors, what we should be working on. Yes, Dave.
So to that extent, this is actually something that I just realized people don't know. Say that like a snow day happens, or for some reason Jersey's highways decide to not function, bring the state to an apocalyptic halt.
Yes.
And we have to cancel rehearsal.
Mm-hmm.
Do you plan to resend your Monday rehearsal email for the next week as sort of a reminder, or no?
Typically, yes. This week I did not do that because we had MAGFest, and we knew that there was nothing going on. But yes, typically, yes. Even if we like don't have rehearsal and we have to like do something else, I will still send the following email because like the second rehearsal is happening, barring any apocalyptic events taking place in New Jersey, as they tend to. Cool. So yes, the rehearsal communications are super important. In this slideshow, by the way, you'll see a QR code. You can scan it to get a cool email template to send to your members. I made that at like 6 a.m. today for all of you. Yeah, that's right. Again, we have a rehearsal on Sunday. I'll come back home. I'll go upload the rehearsal email footage that I take. I film everything at rehearsal. Sorry, I'm hiccuping. I film everything at rehearsal. I upload it to YouTube as like an unlisted link, so it's not public. I will do that usually when I get home or like the next morning. I'll share that footage with members, but that footage is also for myself to review. I encourage all the members in the group to review the footage as well and listen, because you learn so much by like listening. It's hard sometimes in the moment to hear everything, but like if you can go back to like your rehearsal like footage, it's super helpful for like really pinpointing like, hey, maybe that transition didn't sound as good as we thought, or hey, maybe those rhythms weren't as clean as we thought they were, or like, maybe like our tone was off, something like you really like see it more, hear it more, like, in hindsight by way of like recording yourself. So there's a little bit more on that later, but after like reviewing all that, it'll help us like plan the following rehearsal. And I know I did mention that we're on like these alternating rehearsal blocks, but it's still important to like review that footage, review footage from like the previous week so you can plan like that week that's coming up. And it's just super helpful. And it's great too because our members really like to, they look forward to the footage. They engage on Discord throughout the week and like discuss things. Like our group is like really good with doing that. So I think like kind of providing this rehearsal footage puts some onus like on the members as well to like really like listen and kind of like come up with like, things that we could be working on as well. So it's great. So yes, in this like pre-rehearsal communication, this email, I would like to make it like very clear what we're going to be working on. So again, we're already expecting a certain block is coming up. We're already expecting like, a list of pieces, but like, within each piece, Monkey Island, we are working on the transition into rehearsal day. That one got us quite a bit. We're going to focus on that. We're going to focus on, the syncopation in that piece. This is a rehearsal letter. We're focusing on this. Sorry, I'm rambling a little bit. It's early. I'll move on. Thank you. So, and yeah, what I've also found is important too, as I mentioned before, is email, Discord cross-posting, putting it in multiple places so people have access to this information. In the rehearsal email as well, I break down what instrumentalists are working on, what the choir is working on, because we separate our rehearsals usually for the first half of rehearsals before we come together. And I also put some important announcements too, just so people are just aware of what's going on. And yeah, it's sent out Monday, so our rehearsals again are Sunday. We send this email out Monday for like the upcoming rehearsal, so people have plenty of notice to know what to work on. People can practice during the week. People can ask questions during the week, and so on and so forth. We didn't always do it this way. It used to be like sometimes we'd send it out at variable times during the week, and it was kind of a mess. Vicky. Yeah, no, go ahead, Dave, yeah. No, thank you, Vicky. No, you're good.
I was say that in the years I've been doing this, I remember that because when the choir used to be small enough that we were just sitting up there waiting for hours on end to actually do anything, it was just me and Bill and like 2 other people. Ever since we instituted this plan and have separated out the choir rehearsal into its own thing, for the first couple weeks, choir is on its own, but as Lisa said, during the back half of the rehearsal, we come up and join the orchestra.
The instrumentalists.
The instrumentalists do our combined rehearsal. That means that the block designation can also be further broken down for choir pieces. If you need to ask the choral director to work on something independent from the block, it's easier to break block for a smaller section of the group than it is to break block for the whole group.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it's so true. Yeah. No, and I'm glad to hear like y'all just like talking about how like this helps at rehearsals and everything too. It makes you feel good, that we're doing a good job here. Yeah. I think Vicky also brought up a great point about just kind of like having questions answered too. Like, these like emails do answer like, hey, like this is what we're going to work on. We also post a lot like in Discord too. Like I'll like we have like a channel for each piece per cycle. And I'll post like some notes like, hey, we really have to work on this transition. Hey, we really have to shape these dynamics. Let's get these bowings together. Like whatever needs to be posted. And like there's always like ongoing discussion from myself, from our members. So like this is very like much like we're like constantly communicating throughout the week, like in anticipation of our next rehearsal. So it's great. I love it. Cool. So there's the aforementioned email template. If you'd like to scan it, feel free. You can just change it to however like works for you. So I'll give you all a second. I also have like a QR code at the end of the presentation for the slides. So like you can also do that later on too. Cool. Did everyone get the template? Awesome. So yeah, this email template, it's like the same every week. I keep it just like kind of saved on Google Drive. This is like a little bit of an abridged version of what I typically use, but it's like pretty much the same thing. So I like to like start by like recapping the previous rehearsal. This is what we achieved. Kind of like put something encouraging in it, like, hey, we sound really good. Let's keep going. Let's keep up the pace. Announcements, like stuff about like collecting dues. Rehearsals, whatever's coming up, whatever's important. next week's plans for instrumentalists and for choir. And I always put like links to the sheet music too, like in each rehearsal. And like I also like to add like a reminder, like bring your own stand, bring a pencil, bring a water bottle, all that stuff that's kind of in each email. So yeah. And again, you can just kind of like tailor it to your own thing. Tad, yes.
For the rehearsal recording,
Mm-hmm.
it's so hard to kind of think of new things for me. There's not a spot for that in the template. Do you like share that separately, or does your creative know the movie?
I actually do put that in the email. I'm sorry. I cooked up the template at like 6 in the morning. Yes, usually like in the recap. Yeah. Thanks for the call out, Tad. I can always add it later on to the Google Drive. But yeah, usually like in the recap, I'll like have like a link to like a rehearsal playlist. So I keep everything like on its own playlist. So Spring 2025 has like a playlist already, and that's where rehearsals always go. So like the link is a static each week and just like updated with new videos. I mean, you can do it however like works for you. But thank you for the call out, Tad. Completely forgot the. Yeah. Yeah, we have like a useful resources. Yeah, like maybe after the panel, like I could show you our Discord server, like what it looks like too, as a little bonus. Yeah, for sure, to see how like everything's organized. That's not my doing. That's our webmaster Dan's doing, but it's incredible. It's also developed over time, and it's like really great for like providing this feedback and like Noah said, like having these like resources like made available to everyone. But yes, thank you for the call out. Completely forgot that link. Cool. Let's talk now about rehearsal etiquette and managing rehearsals. So, when I was conducting Ace Attorney this week, I think I got a few comments from conductors like, "Oh, I like that you just take one question and keep going." So, that's something I've learned over time. I kind of used to get like overrun with like questions, and I am very easily distracted. I have like just executive functioning is hard sometimes. So if I'm being asked like 20 million questions, it's like really hard to like stay and like focus. But I found like over time that like developing some like rehearsal etiquette, like what kind of questions should we be asking in rehearsal? And I like prompt my members like, hey, can this question wait? Can this wait till like, later on in the rehearsal? Can we talk about it during the break? And I'll sometimes ask too, if somebody has like a question, or like maybe a multi-part question and it kind of starts getting like a little too in the weeds, I'll like try to like stop right there. Can we talk about this during the break? Can you DM me afterwards? Or if I don't even have the answer right then and there, I'll say, hey, I don't have the answer right now. We got to keep going. Can you DM me later? Can you ask me later? We'll talk about this. But, just kind of like managing like questions during rehearsal has been like really important. And yes, questions are important. Like people need to like ask questions about the music. People need to ask like what's going on, but like we've like over time kind of established like a rehearsal etiquette that like we really need to like keep things going. We treat our time as being super super precious, and if we're kind of getting too much in the weeds like talking and not making music, we lose so much time. So this isn't all just happening in the rehearsal. Like questions are answered like during the week on Discord. Questions are like like this discussion happening. The rehearsal emails is pointing out things that we need to work on, whatnot. And if there's like something like say I have to do something like to like conduct the group to like work them through a transition, I'll try to like make like a video in advance and show people like what I'm going to be doing and everything. So like this kind of managing rehearsals doesn't all happen in the rehearsal. The etiquette that we establish doesn't all happen in the rehearsal, but like quite a bit of it does. So again, we don't want to like derail the rehearsal too much with like questions. We want to like prompt our members to think about what are you asking? Like really think about this. Does this like affect the whole group? This is just maybe relevant to you or a few people. Can you direct this to your section leader maybe instead? Can you do you really have to like raise your hand and ask? Other things to do too to kind of like cut down on like where are we starting from questions that we always get is I'll speak in a loud, clear voice. Better than I'm doing now. I'm tired. Sorry. I'll speak in a loud, clear voice. We're starting from measure 43. We're going to go until measure 56 and stop right on the downbeat. Like I try to like direct them that this is where we're starting. This is where we're stopping. We're going to focus on cleaning up this rhythm. I need these players to play. Like, I just give very clear instructions, then we do our thing. Then we stick to, like, those, like, 8 bars or however many bars that I said we're going to work on. And I find that helps a lot, too. And, like, curbing, like, the where are we starting from questions and whatnot. Sometimes we still get that because sometimes people, hello, welcome. Sometimes you'll once in a while get like the where are we starting from questions, but like I think the group's been like really like kind of like trained in like answering like here, you know, like so that's been super helpful. That all said, I also like to lean a lot on like section leaders, music leadership, choral directors, all that to help manage the rehearsals too. So like, you know, our section leaders are there to like help like answer maybe like a quick instrument specific question. Like if you need to lean over and ask like argon or trumpet section leader or brass section leader a question, he's there, he can help. If somebody is like chatting and like, I'm not going to call any section names today. If somebody's chatting in one section, like lean on the section leader to kind of like help curtail it, like, you know. So, you know, it's also like I'm one person, then there's like 85 people in NJGSO. So like, you know, you need the section leaders to also like help too. So lean on them, tell them how you want them to like help manage rehearsals, set a good example, and your rehearsal should run smoother. Any questions right now at this point? So I can take a sip of my seltzer? Yes, I can. It's good. That spicy water is the good stuff. Yes. What was your name, by the way? I'm sorry. David. Oh, I will take another sip. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It is herding cats, yes. No, it is so true. And like you have to kind of get ahead of this like herding cats aspect, right? You have to like really plan for this because like it's just inevitable. You get a bunch of like people who are there, they're excited to be there, they're happy. You know, things could very easily go off the rails. So it is important to establish like this etiquette. Something I didn't mention earlier too is we have what's called the baton rule, that when the baton is up, the mouths are shut. Or you're all ready to sing. I don't know, but you don't have your mouths hanging open when you're ready to sing. Yes. It's okay, it's early in the morning. Cool. Recording rehearsals. Yes, so I mentioned before that I record rehearsals. So what I do is I set up a tripod, I have my phone sitting there and I record like each piece. So I will typically record like the 20 minutes or so that we're focusing on like working through the piece. And then we'll start and stop the recording to do like a run through. And I'll like distinguish the two on like YouTube later. But it's great for your reference and for your members' reference. Again, like over time in NJGSO, we've like really started engaging like members in listening to these recordings, and it's great. Like there's discussions throughout the week. Again, the NJGSO folks can attest to that there's like discussions throughout the week about what we worked on, how we sounded. And you know, sometimes it's hard too because like our particular rehearsal venue is like a big linoleum box, so we have to like keep that in mind too for like our acoustics. But like it's just so like you really hear things clearly. You really hear like when a rhythm isn't right. You really hear when like the syncopation's not there. You really hear like people having trouble with transitions. Me as a conductor, it shows me that if I'm like making a gesture that people aren't responding to, like I know in the moment, but I can also really see it and get kind of like that feedback too. I try to point this at a way where we can like see like the conductor and as much of the group as possible. So there's like a visual aspect to it too, but yeah, no, we always record each rehearsal. These recordings go online like the day after rehearsal. In Choral Lands, their assistant choral director Pamela will also like record and like post things to like a Google Drive. I know she does audio strictly, but yeah. Yeah.
The nice thing about audio compared to the video recording is that you can literally drop the microphone. Is that literally the choir can circle up by section, and we can literally drop the microphone dead in the center of the circle.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and it's super helpful.
It basically gets a very clear idea of where we're hearing, where we're laughing, and where we need to work on.
Absolutely, yeah. And yeah, like I mentioned before, you just want to keep this resource available at all times. The way I do it is I just have a long-running rehearsal playlist that just grows over the course of the cycle. and you can go week by week and just see like everything that we've worked on. The playlist does get a little out of control over time because you just by the end of the cycle you have like 100 videos on it, but it's just great because you have the static link. It's not changing week by week. You can just see what's there. You can just scroll to like a video. You can go back and reference older ones, whatever you need to do, and yeah, it's just great too. I mean, I'll take notes during rehearsal, but there's only so much I can do while running the rehearsal. So this is just an invaluable resource for like kind of going back and like just getting some extra perspective. I also hear things a certain way from up at the podium, but like, you know, this provides like a kind of different like audio perspective of the group. And you hear things differently. You'll catch new things. It's great. I love recording rehearsals. I recommend everyone record the rehearsals and study them. Cool. So after rehearsals take place, you know, it comes like kind of the planning portion for like the following week. You know, you're reviewing like those rehearsal footage that you've been taking week by week. You want to identify your places that you can like improve. We like to keep like a record of our notes each week, so I'll meet with like our choral directors and like any like assistant conductors. We'll keep like a running record each week of our notes, just so we can kind of see how things have improved, what we've been working on over week by week, and yeah. And then like I said before, we'll discuss like with our performers on Discord, like what we're going to be doing and everything. But the planning just comes a lot easier when you have that like that rehearsal footage to review. When you're like taking notes and rehearsing all that good stuff. Just gonna check our time. I think I'm only going to 9:40, so I've been talking a lot. I might open up for some Q&As too. Really quickly, I have some other kind of just like quick notes that like really help facilitate like our rehearsals and whatnot. Score study is super huge. So as a conductor, see, I see the conductors shaking their heads. Great. It's so important for you to know your scores like inside and out. That way you can really like help, you know, like your members like learn the pieces. You can really like help, like if they have questions, you can be there to like reliably answer those questions. And you really want to think of like your intents, like when you're going into like the rehearsal, like what do you want to work on? What do you want to convey? Like in your conducting, in your messaging, like what do you want your members to do? That way, like knowing the scores really well, you can do that. So yeah, it is on you to be able to lead. And it's on you to know the material. Let's see. I also have one more little bit about like the rehearsal cycle is that we really like curate our pieces so that like our rehearsals like run smoothly. We want really make sure that our notation is like super clean, super clear. Like our engraving is like really good. We have like a whole like arrangement process cooked up by Travis, who is also our arrangements director. He should do a panel on it next year maybe, so, you know, we'll have that as a to be continued. But just having this process where we're like really like curating and reviewing our arrangements is super duper helpful because like it cuts down on kind of like extraneous rehearsal time being like asked for like clarity on pieces. Like if your notation's super clear, you don't have to like have your members like asking like, oh, what is happening at this bar or whatnot. Like it's having like really like curated solid arrangements that are well engraved with like rhythms that are like clearly syncopated, you know, with like, you know, clear articulations and everything really like takes away from like having to like delve into and figure out all that stuff in rehearsal, and it really like facilitates like better music making. So that's just something I wanted to add to, is that making sure that your pieces are super curated to help with that. David first and then Lauren. Yeah, we are actually working on trying to develop like a house style. We have Thomas Kresge in our group, and he's an amazing resource for this. Right now, in terms of like our house style, like we just have like programs that we like approve that you can use. So you know, we're trying to like get away from like kind of like programs that don't like create super clear notation. I think like Noteworthy Composer. Sorry to the Noteworthy fans here. We try to get away from like notation software that just creates like notation that doesn't look great. We try to stick to like MuseScore, Sibelius, Finale, Dorico. There's probably a couple others too that are okay. Dorico, yes. Sorry, Dorico. Tomato. Yeah, so we do stick to like certain pieces. We're really pushing for like 11 by 17 scores because I'm old, I can't see shit. We also do like a really strict like parts review too to make sure that like there's like clean page turns, that things don't look wonky, that we don't have like, crescendos that just walk away to different parts of the page as they do sometimes. Yeah, I mean, we could talk more about this like after the panel as well, like kind of like our arrangement process. And again, I would love to do like something next year about arrangement processes. Lauren and then Jamin. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it really like took place over those 10 years. Like it did not happen overnight. And that's why I'm sitting here. So like, if you're all like starting groups or like whatnot, you can kind of get like a head start on all this. But yeah, it was developed over the course of time. It was developed over like trial and tribulation and seeing like people get frustrated, like, oh, this isn't clear. What are we doing? And like kind of like getting feedback from folks and, just coming up with new ideas like week by week. It just it didn't all happen overnight, but it's just like it's kind of part of like goes back to like that consistency, like that kind of standard that we like developed over time. Yeah, so I think it took about like the 10 years. I don't know if you count COVID though. So maybe like 8 years. Jamin.
Can I yes and something on the last slide?
Sure, which slide is this?
That one.
Yes, you can yes and anything.
It's on you to know the material. When people ask a question, they expect an answer. And no matter how big your group is, if it's 5 folks, if it's enormous, I don't know is an acceptable answer.
Mm-hmm.
All of these groups are tremendous repositories of enormous talent.
Yes.
And one of the worst things you can do is have somebody, some shiny-eyed person in the back of the second violin section ask you a bowing question, and you reveal to the people who know what's going on that you know nothing about string bowing.
Mm-hmm.
It is totally fine to say, I'm not sure, but we have an incredible section leader who can answer that for us.
Yes, and that, yeah, absolutely. No, thank you so much, Jamin. That really does go back on to like leaning on your section leaders, leaning on like the folks who really know this stuff. Like, I'm not a violinist; I'm just a filthy guitarist, But like, I can tell the violins like, hey, get your shit together and get on the same bowings. But like, I'm not gonna tell y'all how to do it. Like, I see some shenanigans happening here.
That's something my conducting teacher always said. I don't know how you do the things you do, but I know what I want.
Oh, absolutely.
Rory, could you figure out that?
Oh yeah. Well, we had a great exercise in this like with like One Winged Angel last cycle, for instance. Like I knew I wanted like a really kind of like I knew the sound I wanted. Like the intro to One Winged Angel. I wanted like this like heavy sound. I wanted this more intense, and I kind of like led the violinist like into a conversation like, how do we get this sound? And we all agreed on down bows for those quarter notes. Dun 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 dun. Yeah, and then we wanted it to feel heavy. How do we do that? We agreed on like kind of playing near the frog. I'm not going to tell them, oh, play near your frog and everything. I kind of like let them figure that out, but like I told them the sound that I wanted, and like they determined that, and it was great. Down frogs, I think we called it in rehearsal. But no, Jamin, that is so true. Like, and sometimes I'll say too, I don't know everything. Again, I'm just a filthy guitarist waving a stick around. But like, it is, it's better to like say I don't know than to like bullshit your members. They'll smell the bullshit right away. Awesome. Do we have any other questions? Yes, Tad. So I plan out like what block is going to be what, but like the plans do develop over time based on like what we worked on, what we were able to work on. So like I don't think it's like possible to plan like what you do work on week by week. Like when we're starting a piece, like we try to do just like a big introduction, like that kind of stays the same, where we'll just try to read through things. We'll like kind of focus in on like pain points. Again, going back to One Winged Angel, when we first started reading One Winged Angel last cycle, the first thing we did was work on the 7/8. and establish how to count it. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. You know, that's like the first thing we worked on. So like I'll kind of have like a general template each time that like I'm going to identify like pain points, transitions, and whatnot. We're going to like knock that stuff out first, and then like kind of like week by week kind of start like developing the piece and everything. But yeah, the plans are made like week by week. They're made in advance of like the subsequent rehearsal. So yeah, the specific plans anyway, yes. Any other questions? I'm taking more questions than I did at rehearsal on Friday, by the way. Of course, of course. This is true. Oh my God. Yeah, we had a. And we're starting in February now. So we're certainly not having rehearsal tonight.
And that rehearsal ran into the logistical problem of 6 inches of snow.
It was great.
I imagine that's also one reason, as someone asked earlier, to resend the email if a rehearsal was canceled, because then you might need some time to reschedule, plan it differently, because now you lost the rehearsal, like that. So you might need to change something up.
Yeah, absolutely. We haven't lost a rehearsal due to inclement weather in quite some time, so like I don't have like the best answer for that, but like typically yeah, like we would have to maybe like replan something and like kind of approach it as we need to. There's been a lot of snow this year that we haven't had in recent years. So maybe if we get some more snowy winters, I'll have a better answer for that. But yes, I do think. Oh, yes. In Sweden, you said? That's where you're from? Oh, wow. No, I can imagine. Oh, wow. Nice. Amazing. But yeah, do you cancel rehearsal for 6 inches of snow?
Clear the streets.
We'll get there.
So do we, but unfortunately that just doesn't mean the ice don't stop.
Yet? Question mark. Cool. Any other questions, comments, concerns? Thank you. Thank you. Well, thank you everyone for coming. So let's keep in touch. You can find me on Discord. That's my handle, AC Menes. IRL, I'm somewhere in the state of New Jersey. I'm also on the MCO Discord. I'm pretty active there. You can find me. And you can check us out online at New Jersey GSO. We have business cards up there. Our social media director is right here. That's Vicky. And yeah, so I also have a little video. I don't know if my audio is working yet, but like, you know. Oh, yes, beautiful. Oh, it is working. So I'll leave this on quiet. We can listen to it. Cool. Thank you so much for coming, everyone. Really appreciate it. And feel free to ask me questions. And I'd love to hear how your rehearsals are going. So reach out to me anytime on Discord. I love talking to folks about rehearsals and all that. And I want to learn from all of you what you do at your rehearsals and kind of develop some more strategies based on that. So yes, this is us at the spring concert doing Sonyo. It was great. And this is what we work towards, you know, we work towards this like amazing performance and like we love doing it. I love when the tenors and basses come with that. It's so good. Oh, what's that? I haven't heard it yet. Oh, that's so cool. Are you guys playing it in WM?
We got a third one.
Yes.
I'll go tell Pete.
Oh no, Pete will arrange it. Are you playing it in WM too, Jamin? Oh yeah.
We haven't done our fall programming yet, but we're hopeful that we can get something put together.
Nice.
Is Tim willing to provide like the music for you? I know you guys like you guys know that. Yeah. Let me.
Thank you for coming, everyone. Again, I want to talk to y'all and hear what you do. Yes. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, yeah.